So just for the thank you, Mr. Gaston. So I have to start over.
Yes, you
But,
do. I was trying to tell
right.
you, hold up.
Okay. All right. Welcome again to the Mayor and Town Council Brentwood Council meeting. Today is Tuesday, February 27, 2024, and we're starting this meeting at 7 p.m. And for the record, we had cancel our previous meeting due to a staff and council members being unavailable sick. So I know there was a lot of sick, and that's why we postponed the meeting to tonight. With that being said, as you know, this meeting is being held in via Zoom, but it's going to be a link that we can share so people can still join this meeting via Zoom. We're live, so you can request via email at info@brentwood.gov if you need the ID and password to join this meeting. That being said, I will have our town clerk to call the roll.
All right, so I have Councilmember Lauren Roque.
Present.
Councilmember Marcus Monroe.
Present.
Councilmember Kiana Taylor.
Present.
Vice Mayor Stefan Legging.
Present.
Mayor Rocio Terminio Lopez.
Here.
And then we have our Town Administrator, Mr. James Gaston.
Present.
Police Chief Ali.
Present.
Town Treasurer Michelle Dorsey.
Present.
Town Clerk Larry Moran, present. And then our Town Attorney, Mr. Jason Deloach.
Present.
Thank you, Larry. So I'm just going to ask for a moment of silence, followed by a pledge of allegiance. Right. So yeah, pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I need a motion. Now I'm going to move to motion to approve the agenda.
I move to approve the agenda with amendments. I have one thing I would like to add, if the
Okay.
council is amenable.
Can we
Um,
have the agenda on the screen just for clarity on?
Thank you for that request. I'd also like to see it just because I'm not sure where we're at for this meeting tonight. It's been amended or same as last week's.
Give me 1 second. I'm pulling that up as we speak. There it is. And there you go.
Thank you, Mr. Gaston. So the thing that I would like to add is hanging of flags for different heritage months. In particular, this month, the remainder of this month, and then a question about next month.
Where do you want to put that? New business, old business?
Let's put it under new business, Mr. Gaston, if that's okay.
just so we're clear, I just want to make sure we're clear. This is to address the ordinance that deals with flag raising in the town.
Resolution?
Not
Yes.
ordinance,
The resolution, I'm
resolution.
sorry, resolution, my apologies. Yes, the resolution.
Yes.
Does anybody have anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much it. So if that all in favor to approve the agenda with the changes made, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so
Aye.
move. This is past Black History Month event was Saturday, February 24. We had a great event. And since we had to announce it, so it's been a good celebration of Black History Month. And congratulations to Councilmember Taylor and our treasurer, Miss Shelley Darcy Washington. Upcoming events, do you have, Mr. Gaston? I only have one item that is coming up, but it's not before our next meeting next week, is the Latino, well, it's gonna be International Women's Day, but I have a organization that is coming to the town to address domestic violence issues. And I know that Councilmember Taylor and I, in coordination with Mayor Robinson, we are planning something to celebrate International Women's Day towards the end of the month. So that needs to be determined. Day and time, all I know is gonna be a Sissy's to Burn. That's all I know so far. But yeah, that's what we have. Anything else?
Give me one
Anyone?
second, and this is the event that you are referring to. Just give me 1 second. I have it right. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. There it is. This is the event that you're referring to. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you want to
It's
elaborate on
called-
this?
It is called Break the Silence. And it's it's about empowering women and also talk about mental health. That's the
Fantastic.
theme for International Women's Day.
Sounds good. And when is this event?
The event is on Saturday, March 9th at Town Hall from 11 to 1. And the organization will be providing the refreshments, raffles, and they have their own panelists. So I just kind of like be moderating the event.
Fantastic. Anything else you want to elaborate about this wonderful event before next Tuesday's meeting?
No, sir. That's all.
All right. Yes, ma'am. All right.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments?
Wait, I think we have
online.
other upcoming events. How far in the future are we going for our upcoming events then?
We have a meeting next week, so before next week, anything happening? Well, you can announce. I know you have a cleanup coming up, so
Yeah, we have a tree committee meeting happening on the 9th in the morning, actually. But it's not super promoted because we don't need to have a ton of people. So I'll provide that to you, Mr. Gaston. As soon as we solidify the location, it'll be before the International Women's Day event. And then, yep, March 16th, we have a river litter cleanup with the Brentwood Green Team, Anacostia Watershed Society, and also the Neighbors of the Northwest Branch. And we should have a flyer finalized, hopefully. I think the mayor was helping us with the translation on that today, so I think we should have it maybe whenever that's ready. Yeah, thank you.
I just sent it to you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? No? Okay, any general public comments, Mr. Gaston or Larry?
I don't see any on my end.
Okay. Okay. The minutes, we're going to move or table those minutes to next week meeting because I think Larry was having some issues with the minutes. So that will be
Yes,
tabled to next week.
sorry guys, all I see is symbols, so triangles, circles, and everything. I'm working on fixing that.
Yeah, he showed me today. I was like, what is this? Something happened, but yeah. So that's the only thing. So I'm going to move to reports and not going to have our chief of police to give us his report.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, and Mr. Deloche and our treasurer. Can everyone hear me? Outstanding. So, in January 2024, I attended and completed a 2-day grant writing class in Annapolis. I also attended and completed a 2-day grant management class. Now, I wanted to attend those courses because grant writing is important, and in order for me to understand the grants, I have to be able to understand the wording and how to formulate to apply for a grant, right? So that was a very important class, and I thank the town for actually sending me to that. Now, in short, all sworn Brentwood Police Department officers attended naloxone training, which is also known as Narcan. Narcan is a life-saving drug used to reverse the effects of an opioid overdose. We are dealing with an opioid crisis throughout the entire nation, right? So it is available without a prescription and in most pharmacies. So just a caveat on that, I am trying to arrange a Narcan training class for the entire town of Brentwood. It's open to all residents and non-residents. The flyer will be coming out soon. I am trying to do that within the second to third week of March. It is a free training session, and Narcan will be available and distributed free of charge to all the attendees. I am actually just waiting from the health department a date where they can actually come on the evening to provide this training, free training to us in March. I met with Obvio Stop Sign Program, OBVIO. It's a new program. It's a new company. They're coordinators to discuss having artificial intelligence stop signs placed within the town to reduce speeding and curb aggressive driving. It is a pilot program for observation and statistic collection to identify problematic areas within the town. This pilot program was purposefully placed or initiated in the area of Thomas Stone Elementary School for the safety of the students and staff. I attended and participated in our first Senior Society Bazaar held at Town Hall. It was a wonderful event. This event had a wonderful turnout and it was a huge success. And all proceeds did go to our Brentwood Senior Society. And just so you know, we actually raised over $300 for the Brentwood Senior Society, which was an amazing turnout and profit. I attended the Brentwood Equity Special Meeting to discuss the equality and equity of all town residents. And I actually you never stop learning. I was very educated. I was very thankful for that session. I know the council members were on there and I learned so much about the equity and equality of our residents and what we're striving to do as a town. And I am very proud to be a part of that. I attended the Police Accountability Board meeting to discuss updates in legislation. And I also visited Thomas Stone Elementary School along with the mayor and our clerk who was available at the time. And we wanted to discuss with Principal Hintz and his staff the implementation of a vehicular traffic pattern and traffic enforcement to assist with the safety of the students and staff. We all know it's been an ongoing issue, and we all know Thomas Stone is in the Mount Rainier area. However, many of our students and family members, they attend Thomas Stone. So it is important for us to work as a partner with the school and even with Mount Rainier to make sure the safety of the students and staff, and that should be our priority. And I will revisit actually Thomas Stone in the next upcoming week to discuss with them again the traffic pattern that we've seen, and there's some steps that we can take to actually improve the safety for the students and staff. The Brentwood Police Department town, we are trying to be proactive in this role and not be reactive, as unfortunately many times we are reactive and not proactive. But we're going to take the lead and try to make sure we can ensure the safety for the staff and the students. I introduced and implemented a stop sign traffic control device at the intersection of Wyndham Road and 34th Street in the area of Thomas Stone Elementary School, again, to help to protect the staff and students of that school. Now, in an ongoing effort to partner with our newly implemented stop signs along 38th Street, which I have to say, by the way, thank you, Town of Brentwood. It was a great victory for us after many years getting those stop signs up. Now, the Brentwood Police Department, under my direction, conducted a traffic enforcement initiative to reduce aggressive driving and unsafe driving behavior. And I know some of you council members have seen more police interaction outside. A lot of more cars are coming through, police cruisers, more traffic initiative. And I want you guys to know this is why we're doing it. Beginning in February 1st to the 21st, the Brentwood Police Department conducted 52 traffic stops and initiated or issued 75 violations throughout the town for aggressive driving and unsafe driving behavior. Additionally, I would like everyone to know in the town that all speed cameras within the town of Brentwood's jurisdiction are now fully operational. And this is to provide safety for our pedestrians and vehicular traffic. For statistics, the Brentwood Police Department responded to 277 calls for service in the month of January 2024. We collected a total of $930 in January 2024 for vehicle impounds and releases. And that will be the conclusion of my January 2024 reports. Please, if there are any questions.
I apologize. The calls for service, that report is up right now on the screen. So if you wanted to touch any basis on that, but I'm about to share that now.
Any questions for our chief? Nope. All right. I will move
Thank
to
you.
the treasurer's report. Shelley?
Ms. Dorsey, can you?
Mr. Gaston?
Oh, there we go.
Ah, there we go. So the treasurer's
Ma'am.
report as of the end of January 31st, 2024. Ending balance in the general fund is $1,207,233.38. Ending balance in ARPA account is $964,809.92. Ending balance in the capital fund is $235,272.33. Ending balance in the PNC is $317,624.20. Ending balance in the Truist money market is $189,626.66. Ending balance in the merchant account is $128,441.90. And the ending balance in the Truist checking is $418,486.04. Total cash on hand as of the end of January 31st, 2024, it's $3,461,494.43. Next is the budget versus actual summary report. This is year to date through January. Total revenues is $2,896,502.73. Total expenditures is $2,463,548.79. And total surplus is $432,953.94. And the bill payment report for the period of January 13th, 2024 through February 15th, 2024. Total disbursements from the checking is general fund is $74,987.32. Total disbursements from ARPA is $17,000. Total of all bills was $91,987.32. That completes the reading of the financial reports as of January 31st, 2024, all subject to audit. And I'd also just like to share that our benefits, our health insurance benefits, our insurance benefits are all through the state of Maryland's program. And they have moved to an electronic system as opposed to the paper, filling out those forms and submitting those forms to get people enrolled and what have you. So in doing that, they made agencies become certified. So I had to spend, it was 3 online classes, 3 days of online classes and 1 day of in-person class. I had to attend in Baltimore to receive the certification for the agency benefits coordinator, which required taking the exam for that designation, as well as passing an exam for HIPAA. And that's all I have to report.
Any question for treasurer?
I do have a question, actually, Ms. Dorsey. I believe that there are some funds remaining from the purchase of the yard signs for the Brentwood Native Plant Network. I believe that they have some remaining funds from that. Is there any chance you have that in front of you? I'm sorry, I didn't get a chance to look at the meeting docket documents in advance of the meeting.
So currently, I'm showing that the plant network, we had a $2,500 budget. We spent $500 of it. So that leaves a balance of $2,000 to be spent.
There's actually an outstanding invoice that I believe I sent over to the front office, I think a couple of weeks ago, for payment for the actual printing of the yard signs. So maybe that hasn't made it into the budget yet.
Okay, I can definitely follow up on that. Do you know how much it was, or roundabout?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay, I'll check into it for you.
Okay, I appreciate that. I just want to be sure that they can use that money wisely before the end of the fiscal year that we have. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Nope. Okay, I move to the next, which is the town administrator's report that includes code enforcement.
Thank you very much. Bear with me. Hopefully everyone can see this. This is actually dated for Wednesday, February 21st. But our expected town hall completion date has been moved, or is May 3rd, 2024. We're still having it'll be a soft opening, because once it's done, then Prince George's County permitting is going to have to come out and approve and provide us with a occupancy permit certification for occupancy. So, but we should be able to move into the building. The next tour, it says February 22nd, but the next tour is actually February 29th, which is on Thursday. You need to email info@brentwoodmd.gov if you want to come by and view and sign the waiver. I'm happy to report that both sets of steps have been installed on both sides of the building. So the building is moving very quickly. So we're excited about that. The Public Works Bobcat trailer is being repaired. The Public Works has a brand new water heater because it was faulty and the furnace wasn't working. So the Public Works did not have heat. And that was somewhat of an emergency. So we went on ahead and got that installed. New bollards have been installed at 40th Place in Utah Street. The new stop signs will be up before the end of the week. We do have new stop signs that have been installed at 38th Street and Upshur, and new stop signs at 38th Street and Allison. So hopefully you've seen those. The town received a $160,000 grant from the Federal Department of Transportation for traffic study. We are still working on our 38th Place sidewalk installation. We're going to put out an RFP for engineering services and get that project moving on along. Code enforcement, we do have it was approved, but my code enforcement for the online system, but the code department decided that the one program that we picked was not meeting our needs. So we are back to the drawing board, unfortunately. And so we're going to have to go back or find a new online code enforcement software. The good news is that we are going to work with the police department to make it one online program so that we are all on the same page when it comes to code enforcement and parking tickets. Public waste. These are just general questions, nothing for discussion or for finalization, but public waste. The questions were, does Bates collect food waste? The answer is yes. Does Bates provide bins? The contract actually ends on Sunday, June 24th, and Bates would not provide any food waste collection on our current contract because it ends within 6 months. So the town council at some going to have to review and decide what to do with Bates in regards to trash removal. This includes yard waste, food scraps, regular trash, and recycling. Let's see. The Bartlett Park public restrooms will be receiving a cosmetic update. So we're going to paint the inside of the public restrooms. We're going to put out a brand new concrete area in front of the public restrooms, and we're also going to look into getting a brand new water fountain for the public restrooms. I attended a number of different meetings and conferences, if you will. The staff attended defensive drive-in, so Public Works is there's only one person. We don't have anybody on our staff that has not taken the defensive driving course. Mr. Brown was our last person, our newest hire. He's taking it. Narcan, all of the staff with Public Works and Code have taken Narcan and CPR training. So that's all taken care of. And do you want me to go over the code enforcement reports, or do you want me to just provide those as information? Do you want me to pull them up, or I'm asking the mayor?
Yes, just for
Okay, yeah, I can. Well, we have two different reports. One is from Mr. Hawkins, and one is from Ms. Aguilar. The one I can pull them both up. The one interesting thing is that Mr. Hawkins actually went to court for 2 properties in the town of Brentwood, and I think it was on February 14th. Don't quote me on the date, but he went to court for 2 different properties, and so the town has looked at getting those particular issues resolved. So give me 1 second, and I will pull up the code reports. And 1 hot second, so all can see. Stop sharing. So this is Mr. Hawkins. I know it looks pretty small because it's on Zoom, but he went to 1 event. He did 2 rental inspections for single family homes. He did 2 inspections for multi-family homes. He did 9 violations of notice. He also he issued 4 parking tickets, and this is for January, and then he issued 5 warnings to tow, and he did 1 municipal citation for fine issued. And so that was his for the month of January. He also went to CSOSA training. And as I stated earlier, Mr. Hawkins, this will be on his February report, that he went to court on February 14th to deal with not 1, but 2 different cases that the town has brought to to 2 of our residents regarding issues. And if you give me a second, I will bring up Ms. Aguilar's report. Hold on. So this is Miss Aguilar's report. Hopefully you can see this. She went to 3 different trainings and events. She did 1 rental inspection. She did 9 violations of notice for January. She issued 3 parking tickets. She issued 2 warnings to tow, and she issued 20 municipal citations for fines. Remember, Miss Aguilar is on a part-time basis, but we are glad she is on staff. So that is our code reports. If anybody has any questions about that, let me know. Does anybody have any questions about the code report? No?
No.
Fantastic. Okay,
No.
so let's get back to my report. Finish that out. Yeah, that is. Okay, great. Let's see. Code enforcement. Oh, I'm sorry. We also are still hosting nuisance property meetings with the town attorney, code, and Vice Mayor Leggins. So one of the reasons Mr. Hawkins had to go to court is because of the meetings that we've had with the town attorney regarding nuisance properties. So we continue to have those at least once a month to address some issues, things of that nature. And our next meeting is scheduled for Friday, March 1st at 3 p.m. Nothing new on the economic development. Newtown Center, $400,000 has been approved, and we're still waiting for the distribution for the capital grants. The legacy grant, the mayor just signed the $100,000 grant agreement that I was able to get an additional $100,000 for the Newtown Center. While the town center is delayed in opening, the good news is that because of the delay, we were able to apply for an additional $100,000 for the Newtown Center. And it's a strange situation dealing with timing. But because it didn't open in September and it's not going to open until May, the grant became available. I applied on behalf of the town, and we received $100,000. So the town we're definitely excited about that. The lamplighter for March 4th should be out by Monday, March 4th. So we're definitely working on that. Facebook, we've got 1 new friend on Facebook. We've got 29 new people on Instagram. We've got 6 new folks on Twitter or X. And for LinkedIn, we've got 2 new followers. And on YouTube, we are +3, so we're at 109. And for those who don't know, we have our own YouTube channel, and it's because we're over 100 subscribers. So we are very excited about that. And I think that will do it for me. I will keep it short. Does anybody have any questions or comments about that? No?
Any questions to Mr. Gaston?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I don't
Oh,
have
that's
any
it?
questions, Mr. Gaston. I
Okay, I
don't.
apologize. I thought you may have. Does anybody else have any questions or comments? No? Oh, there is one thing I wanted to note, that I did go to Annapolis and testify at Annapolis on behalf of the University of Maryland's Baltimore certified public manager class. They renew these forms or this funding every year. And so I did have to testify or went to testify in person for SB 101 and HB 348 in Annapolis. So I was really excited about that. Does anybody else have any questions about that? I will tell you that we are doing some minor changes in the town hall. We've got a couple of new fresh coats of paint, and we will be painting the new chamber this week going into next week. So by the time the next Tuesday's meeting comes, we will have a fresh coat of paint. And we're also, as I stated, going to be upgrading make some cosmetic upgrades to the restrooms, the public restrooms, excuse me. And that should do it. Does anybody else have any questions about that? Nothing? Going once, going twice. All right, I am done.
Thank you, Mr. Gaston.
No worries.
Okay, so I will move to the next item in the agenda, which is the council report, and I'm going to start with Councilmember Monroe.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Excuse me. So for the Cable TV Authority, nothing yet to report on that one other than waiting for more information about the process to get the cables run over to the town hall, because I know there was a minor delay with that. So I know the town administrator is working with the team on that, and so when we have more information, we can share that at the next meeting. In general, there's some other updates related to the committees that I serve on. So, excuse me. So the as board president for Gateway CDC, there's a few notable updates. Gateway CDC did help, though I wasn't able to attend. I heard it was a pretty good event. The Gateway CDC helped coordinate the artists and the speaker for the Black History Month event and the vendors that were there. And so thank you again to the mayor and staff and the team for coordinating the event. And there's also been several events that Gateway CDC has helped coordinate throughout the month for Black History Month. The last one's going to be this on the 29th. And that's going to be a film screening of My Brother's Keeper by a filmmaker. Her name is Mekinote Kabidi, and that's going to be in Mount Rainier. Excuse me. So I'll send it around to the council so that way they have information on it if you haven't seen it on social media. And in March, as you saw previously, Gateway CDC is working with Neighborhood Design Center on the Volta Avenue Artists Studio project. There will be 2 community engagements, one on March 27th that will be virtual from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And I'll coordinate with the town clerk on just circulating a sign that we can get out to our residents. And then on March 30th, that will be an in-person one. Initially, that was going to be at the building, and it doesn't look like it's actually going to be able to be open in time. So what I'm going to do is pivot to request that be at town hall. And so I'll send this formally as an email, but let me know if that, I haven't seen anything on that date. That's March 30th, the Saturday, and that will be from 10 to 11:30 a.m. in person at town hall, community engagement opportunity to hear about the project and ask questions. So again, at the end of the meeting or afterwards, just let me know if that date isn't available for town hall. If it is, I'll request to get added to the calendar. Excuse me. Next is PGCMA, or Prince George's County Municipal Association. So one of the major key updates is, you all saw the emails that I'm working with Councilmember Taylor as the secretary to coordinate comments and also attendees for the annual meeting with the county executive. This is an opportunity for the general body or membership, 2 representatives from each municipality to attend, and then you can submit up to 2 questions for each municipality for topics or on policy, issues in the community, whatever it is, and we'll consolidate those. The county exec brings the directors from each agency, and they go through and ask the question. We have a chance to get our responses, and there's some informal Q&A at the end. No date has been set for that, but you'll when we get it, you'll get it. And then overall, continuing to do the weekly meetings with the legislative committee. So on Mondays, 8 a.m., we meet, go with the legislative agenda and talking about what bills to support, not support, et cetera. And so that's going on and through the end of session in April. Well, technically it goes past it as well because we have county items that go beyond that timeline. But and then just a quick note, there was technically not a council thing, but just a FYI, I'll be sharing more information about it. I was added to the Universal Design Work Group, which is a task force under the county looking at affordable housing, specifically about how making it more accessible to residents. And I serve in that position as for the American Institute of Architects, a local chapter. We have a board. I'm representing the board on that Universal Design work group. For the county council members, I'm Jolene Ivy and the chairwoman, Jolene Ivy. And so as that committee meets through the summer, I'll let you know what information comes out that may or may not affect new development projects in our municipality. And then lastly, just in general activities, I've, like many of us, attended the Safe Streets for All press event earlier this month. Also attended the Safe Streets for All kickoff meeting with Mayor, Vice Mayor, Town Administrator, and Treasurer yesterday, when that was a great event, great kickoff. So exciting to see that move forward. And I believe that's all I have right now. So if there's any questions, just let me know.
Mayor Monroe, Councilman Monroe, may I do an addendum to your cable report?
Yeah. If you have anything, please do. Yeah.
Okay, so just FYI, for those who don't know, I also attended and represented the town on February 23rd at what's called the INET group. This is, so INET now is officially called CNET, and it's been totally changed. And the reason this matters is because they do a once an annual meeting, and they vote on the Comcast and the Verizon billing for municipalities. So I did sit on that particular meeting, representing the town of Brentwood. The budget for the Comcast and Verizon was unanimously voted with a thumbs up. And as I stated, INET is now officially CNET. So those who don't know. So just an FYI on that. If anybody has any questions about the change and what CNET or INET is, let me know. Thank you, and I am done.
That concludes your report, Councilmember Monroe?
It does. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so I'll move to the Vice Mayor Leggett with the Public Works and Programming.
Hello.
Thank you, Mayor. Hello, Mayor and Council. I will hop together a sort of a on the spur, on the fly report. My apologies as I'm calling in from Baltimore. The last month, I attended a lot of the same things that you've heard already. Attended the Safe Streets for All kickoff meeting with Councilmember Monroe, Treasurer, Vice Mayor, our Mayor, and Gaston. One of the good takeaways from that kickoff meeting was that we have an amazing team from the Federal Highway Administration that is here to support us. And I have no concerns about our ability to deliver on everything that we need on our end to make this project work. So it was a very, very good first meeting, and looking forward to next steps with them. Speaking of next steps, an RFP for the Vision Zero safety plan has been completed. It's been reviewed by the town administrator, and actually it is now in the inbox of one of our team members from the Federal Highway Administration. They're going to review it to make sure we're kind of checking all the boxes to set us up, not just for a good bid, but for future work when we want to implement, our plan. And so hopefully we'll have that RFP for council review in the next few days. While we're talking about Safe Streets for All, Councilmember Monroe mentioned meeting with Congressman Ivy and the rest of the kids over there at Thomas Stone to celebrate our award, as well as Mount Rainier and Riverdale and others awards. And there's just a really important sort of piece that I just want to remind the council regarding that day, which I don't think anyone has really discussed, which is that it was around this time last year that the Brentwood Council wrote a formal letter to Mount Rainier asking for a sit-down meeting to discuss traffic safety on 34th Street in front of Thomas Stone. And we had that meeting, and then we did a site visit, and then we came up with some plans. And it was at the conclusion of that meeting that Mr. Kamali, the city manager for the town, or for Mount Rainier, as well as Rocio, who is their public works director. It was after that meeting and after that site visit that they went to their consultant and said, we would like to include 34th Street in front of Thomas Stone as part of our plans for this Vision Zero safety action plan. And so no one will tell that story, but I'm telling it here for the record, that it was in large part due to our prompting, that all that work and all that planning that's going to happen in front of Thomas Stone is going to happen. So that's very exciting. Other things that have been happening, we had a couple ARPA meetings. The big highlight of the last month is that we had at least a dozen, if not more, business applications. That triples the number of business applications we had in the year before. So in 2.5 months' time, we've tripled the amount. One of the sort of side benefits of that as well is that we've discovered that there's some businesses operating without a license. So that gives us the opportunity to introduce them to the idea of getting their business license in Brentwood. So that's a win-win. Attended the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion workshop, of course. Attended the Black History Month event. And as far as I can tell, I think that is it. If anybody has any questions, though, I'm happy to answer.
Excellent, Vice Mayor. Thank you for that. I'll move to the Green Team on Tree Committee. Councilmember
Mayor,
Rao.
I have one
Mayor,
question.
there's some
Oh, yes,
questions.
go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't see the hand.
So
Go
this is
ahead.
actually for Vice Mayor. And actually I don't know who. I'm directly Vice Mayor, but it could be for anybody to answer. Kenny Megan, a resident who was very passionate about the grant. And I may be messing up the name of the organization that would hold it, but basically there's a hub, the same hub that we used to look at example applications. That same hub would like to use our application as one of the good examples of something that won. And I could forward this in email, but basically and I didn't know how to handle this. So I was like, well, I'll bring it up to council and say, like, are we okay with sharing our winning applications to be used as a public example on this hub website? And I couldn't think of a reason why it would be an issue other than I needed to bring it up before council.
Yeah, as long as there's no confidential information in there, I'd say go for it. Yeah.
And I believe I heard yesterday that the Department of Transportation does tend to post the winning applications. So that's one of the agencies that has transparency around their grants and their funding. So I think I think that should be fine to post if they're posting it, right, as well.
It makes us look good.
Any other questions?
Yes, Public Works, just wondering if there's any update on Sidewalk-a-Palooza or the sidewalk
Sure.
In general. Thanks.
Sure. So we will roll any sidewalk palooza. We will roll sort of assorted sidewalk repairs into the 38th Place project, right? And so we're going to be installing a sidewalk in 38th Place this year, and part of that project will include sort of the heres and theres around town. So one of the challenges of a small town like us is finding somebody who wants to take on small projects, and the sort of heres and theres around town of sidewalk repairs that are needed are really not enough for most people to be interested in. So our best strategy is to roll those repairs into the larger project of sidewalk installation for 38th Place. The town administrator and I had a conversation about that earlier today, and we should have a RFP for that 38th Place installation for council to review sometime next week.
And if I may, can I jump in regarding Public Works as well?
Please.
FYI, after much prodding, to Pepco, 37th Street between, I want to say Jackson and Varnum, those lights were out. Those lights have been reinstalled and they are on. Additionally, the poles are being repaired on Varnum from 37th all the way to the alley, 35th Street alley. So they were placing all those poles. Lastly,
Beyond 35th Street Alley, all the way to my
Yeah,
block,
my
actually.
apologies. Yes, that's correct. Additionally, in front of Mr. Hicks's house, they are replacing the transformer. So,
Is
thank you
Is
for,
it possible, could you write just a short thing and put it in the next news you can use to just let people know, hey, this is happening? Because I saw a couple of my neighbors coming outside earlier today being like, what's all the racket and what's going on? And just letting
that is
them
your
know,
town
hey, this is a
administrator
good
being,
thing and
that
don't be
is your town
scared.
administrator being the thorn in Pepco's side. Because the darkness that eludes on 37th Street from, from the Veterans Park all the way to Varnum, it was pitch black. There were 3 lights out and you couldn't even see the hand before your face. And I just kept at them. I couldn't stand it anymore. So anyway, all those lights have been replaced and the poles are old and they've been replaced as well. So I am really ecstatic about that. And then as I stated, the poles on Varnum Street from 37th past 35th Street alley are also being replaced, and the transformer in front of Mr. Hicks's house, which is 3508 Varnum, I think. That transformer is being replaced as well. So that's just a Public Works.
And for residents who accidentally have their cables knocked out while Pepco is working on the poles, they can contact Pepco probably.
Yes, all of the public utility contact information is listed on our web page. So if you see a light out, WSSC, Washington, you name it, the public utility contact information is listed on our webpage, and it should be living here, and it says cable, and it says public utilities. And it has, so all those links are right there. So if you're mad at Pepco, there's a link that you can explain to them how you feel.
Thank you, Mr. Gaston.
Thank you, Ms. Gaston. Councilmember Lauren, Rob? Green
Yes.
team?
Yes, I did send in my committee report, but
You did. Which one do you want to start with first?
the committee report.
The sustainable, the
Yes.
February 2020? Yes, okay, hold
Thank
on.
you. Yes,
Let me pull that up right now.
thank you.
It's slow, so bear with me. It's a big report.
That's not why it's slow.
No comment.
It's because our laptops are aged.
No comment.
Just do the smaller PDF, trust me. Don't do PowerPoint.
Always, always.
All right, there you go. Can you guys, maybe not. Give me 1 second. Where is this? Oh no, wait, sorry. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's share. Oops. Let's go here. Let's go there. Let's share. Sorry for the delay, and there you go. Okay.
Yes, thank you so
Is that-
much.
You're welcome.
Slide 2 is just a quick update on where we're at with the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, with working with Town of North Brentwood on the flooding and stormwater, and also the Brentwood Climate Action Plan. So we met with Town Administrator Mr. Gaston, Vice Mayor Legan, and I met with the Town of North Brentwood and MNCPPC and Charles P. Johnson and Associates, who was the
Yeah, no,
selected.
I'm getting back to it. Give me a sec.
Well, thanks.
There you go.
Who's the selected contractor on behalf, or MNCPPC selected them for the flooding and stormwater? Oh, just a couple slides back. Couple
Oh.
slides.
There you go.
So we did a tour. We met to kick off the contract and met at Sis's Tavern, which was really nice to be able to share that space. And then we took a tour of. I'm still seeing the wrong page, but that's
Yeah, I
okay.
don't know why. Give me a second.
Oh, great, great, great.
Oh, there it is. Let's do it this way. Oh, that works.
Thank you.
That better?
And- Yep, that's
This one?
great. Thank you.
Oh,
Yep.
all right.
And then we took a tour with the folks around North Brentwood, and then took a tour through Brentwood to identify the areas of flooding and stormwater that we've seen in the past. We had shared multiple images that residents had taken or that we had historically, and shared those with the contractors as well. Right now, they're gathering a bunch of data to compile to create that analysis. So they're getting information from Pepco, from the county, from different sources to pull together. So they're in that stage, and they're not pausing, but they haven't kickstarted the climate action plan yet, because they want the flooding and stormwater analysis to influence the climate action plan, because it'll be a huge part of the climate action plan. So I've asked for a timeline and there isn't one at this point, but we're hoping that by September we'll have both delivered, September, October. So that's where we're at with that. It was a great tour. We got to see some interesting things on our tour, and I really appreciated Town Administrator Mr. Gaston and the Vice Mayor being there to contribute key information that I was not aware of. So thanks, guys. Next slide, please.
Is this right?
Yes, thank you. So updates from January, February. Tree Committee held their first Free the Trees with Joe Movement Emporium Greenworks, and Maryland DNR came out as well. So they removed invasive vines, as you can see there, on the trees, and also did a lot of litter pickup as well. And this was right behind the Public Works Department. Brentwood Native Plant Network met with the Prince George's County Audubon to discuss opportunities for the Pocket Park, which is on our agenda for discussion today. Green Team designed a draft survey to assess community barriers and benefits. And we will be meeting with Vice Mayor Legan and also Community Services Outreach Coordinator, Miss Debbie. We'll be meeting together to talk about any kind of overlap or any kind of collaboration we can do on those surveys to identify some of the barriers and benefits to folks participating in environmental and sustainability activities. We also held a training with Sustainable Maryland, which is part of the requirements for our certification with Sustainable Maryland. And that included Green Team, Tree Committee, and Brentwood Native Plant folks, as well as a resident from Cottage City who is also interested in participating in our activities. So that was a really great event. Next slide, please. We are currently in the process of applying for, we talked about this at the last meeting, the Green Streets, Green Jobs, and Green Towns grant from Chesapeake Bay Trust, care of Prince George's County. Working with Town Administrator Mr. Gaston, I did send to you all the draft grant application wording. If you have not taken a look, your name is in the grant application. If the information I wrote about you is not correct, please update it. And you need to do that soon. So if you need me to resend you the links, I'm happy to do that. But we are applying for a charrette, which is, I had never heard of this word before until I started as a council person, but it's bringing folks together around a table to talk about ideas and come to some solutions and also get input and discussion. And we're focusing it around Bartlett Park, because we know as Mr. Gaston had presented about the new town center, once that wraps up slowly, we don't want to wait until that's done in order to start focusing on the municipal building that currently exists in Bartlett Park. We want to start, looking at, okay, how do we, we want to take a breather, obviously, between capital projects, but we want to take a look at when we're updating that building, how can we also upgrade Bartlett Park around it? How can we address the flooding issues in Bartlett Park and also make it, you know, an inclusive park that is also healthy? Because when you have flooding issues or stormwater issues, that can cause health concerns as well. So we're applying for that charrette and technical project assistance, which would be free of charge to us and would be led and managed by the Chesapeake Bay Trust folks. So they would select the contractor and provide us the legwork, since we are, of course, short on resources. So that's very helpful. We do already have letters of support from Senator Augustine, Delegate Fennell, Anacostia Watershed Society, Sustainable Maryland is coming in soon. We're talking to the interfaith partners of the Chesapeake Bay this week, as well as Defensores de la Cuenca, and hopefully we'll get letters from them as well. Thank you. Next slide, please. Just a reminder, don't forget to bring your bags when you go shopping. No more plastic bags should be handed out within the town of Brentwood and Prince George's County. Next slide, please. This is a list of some of the activities I participated in. Roundtable discussion with Sustainable Maryland, attended the Prince George's County Municipal Association meeting, collaborated with Councilmember Monroe and Councilmember Taylor on the Brentwood Equity Special Meeting, met with the UMD Master Gardeners to discuss training opportunities, participated in the Thomas Stone Elementary celebration of the new carpets, yay! Safe Streets for All press conference, MML Emergency Management Officials Department monthly meeting, which I've also started sharing with our new police chief. So he's also able to participate in the emergency management for town of Brentwood. Met with the town at Edmonston and Mayor Lopez to discuss American Bloom, and attended the coffee with the chief, with our new police chief, and attended Councilwoman Fisher and North Brentwood Black History Month event. And I think that's the end of the report. Oh, upcoming things. That's done. Already covered that. Thanks. Any questions?
I have one. Did you want to talk about the Pepco free tree so we can get it officially on the record?
Yes, for residents. Yes. Did it already go out in the news you can use?
It has, and it has continued to stay in the news you can use that's posted, that has been posted. However, a verbal push by Councilmember Rauch will do it so much just.
Every year, of course, Pepco gives out free trees to homeowners, residents, those interested parties. I'm not sure what the deadline is. I don't have it in front of me, but take a look at news you can use and make sure you're checking out those. They are available. Of course, it's part of the Maryland 5 Million Trees Initiative. So that and many other efforts by the Tree Committee will be taking place this year. Thanks, Mr. Gaston.
All right, thank you. Any questions? I'll move, if not, I'll move to the special events with Councilmember Taylor.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to try to make this super duper quickly. Thanks to the staff for the Black History Month program. It was a very, very nice event. It was well attended. It was so nice to see the videos that Mr. Moran was able to put together interviewing some of the longtime residents. So thank you, everybody, for all the hard work that you put in for that event. Moving ahead, Councilmember Monroe briefly talked about it, but the Legislative Committee for Prince George's County Municipal Association meets every single week, and this is a pretty busy legislative session. So just some of the things that we have been in support of is restriction of state funding for maglev. They'll have to find their own funding. I think what is permitted in the bill is just very minimal cost, but we are really pushing for the state to not provide any funding for maglev. There's also a bill that's coming up in regards to manufactured homes being allowed in Prince George's County, which could be a way to get affordable housing for people who can't afford traditional housing. As we know, housing is very expensive. We are in support of that with amendments that basically say that the manufactured homes have to sort of fit in aesthetically with whatever homes that are there, but it's a 1-for-1 swap. So if it's a single family home community, single family home, manufactured home should be allowed within there. There's also the state audit bill, which basically says if you are a municipality who has not filed your audits, the state can withhold some funding. We're pretty sure the bill is going to pass. We're trying to implement safeguards. One is allowing municipalities who have fallen behind to just have a little bit of time to catch up before they face any financial restrictions. And also, we're requesting that the state not pull funding for public safety in the restriction of funds. So as we get more developments for that, we'll be sure to let everybody know. We're currently working to meet with the county executive. If the council has any particular things that they would like to advocate for in that meeting, you can send your emails to Councilmember Monroe. We'll get all of that stuff submitted, and then it'll be compiled and presented before PGCM governing body. Maryland Municipal League, the registration should be opening on March 1st, which is Friday. The hotel information is going to be released on March the 14th. So we all know you get the lower rates if you register early. So we should start having a conversation now about who's going to go, so that we can get that done quickly and try to save some coins. For special events, we are looking to partner with North Brentwood to do a Women's History Month event. It's going to be at Sisters Tavern. I actually spoke with Mayor Petrella today, and she wanted to meet with the mayor and myself to hammer out some logistics. For that, it's going to be towards the end of the month. And it's going to be at Sisters Tavern. So as more information for that becomes available, I will make sure that we share it. I am also working to put together a mental wellness Healthapalooza event for Mental Health Awareness Month, which is May. And that will include all of the gateway municipalities. So Mount Rainier has agreed to participate. North Brentwood has agreed to participate. Brentwood is participating. And also the city of Hyattsville is participating. So this will be a big event where we'll have mental health resources for people who need them. We'll be doing health screenings, fitness demonstrations, things like that. That'll be happening sometime in the month of May. Again, I'll keep everybody in the loop for that. And we're going to start planning for Brentwood Day soon. So if there are any community members who are interested in helping to plan Brentwood Day, you can send me an email at CM2, Councilmember 2, CM2 at brentwoodmd.gov. We would love to have some more hands on this event. Last year was such a huge success, and we're looking to have an equally successful year for 2024. And I think that is it, unless anyone has any questions for me.
Hear none. Thank you. Well, very busy meeting, different organizations and other meetings with the council members. We visited Thomastown, as the chief mentioned. We went for the contest, If I Were the Mayor, and I spoke with the fourth graders. And then 2 days later, we visit Thomastown just so we can get the picture of all the new equipment that Thomastown received through ARPA funding. Then we went to the event with Congressman Ivey. So it was like I feel like I went to school every day. So that's what I had. Also met with the Washington Health Institute, which they will be doing a mobile clinic once a month. So they were participating during the Black History Month event. They want to, it was kind of like a short notice, but they really want to put the foot in Brentwood so they can get to know the community better. So, and as I mentioned to some of you, that the Institute received a grant to work with Prince George's County. So they feel, good that Brentwood was selected as the first town, so they will be coming once a month. I think they're coordinating also with Mount Rainier to do the same, to provide different testing from high cholesterol, glucose. They have different things they can offer, also holistic care, education, and research. So that's what they're going to be doing with us once a month. What else I have? I did have a meeting with Edmondson town administrator, Mr. Barnes and Lauren Rowe to talk about American in Bloom 2024. So that's in the new business, on the new business, because we're seeking for funds to put the application in, so we can get a lot of different, I think we received some plans and today, that notification that we're gonna be getting different plants and flowers and stuff. So what else? I did attend the senior society dance, which was successful event as well. They were able to collect some funding. I know that that's for February, but it seems to be a very busy February, especially with the seniors that were participating in the different events through the month. So I think that's pretty much it. I met with the treasurer to discuss the mayor's budget proposal that is going to be presented to you next week. So if you still have some time to send your needs and wants to the treasurer, so we can discuss before the meeting. I can discuss with her before the meeting. Mr. Gaston, if you have anything, please, this is the time. You still have time, because I will be presenting that next week. What else I have? I know I put this different things. So Black Network, yeah. So that's what I have as my report for the mayor. And happy to support council members because they seem that they are very busy. So I commend you all for all the work that you're doing, and it's like, you take the lead in your committees, and that's great because we can I cannot do it alone, and you guys are doing an excellent job with that. So with that, we'll move to the consent agenda, the consent to receive reports.
Mayor, real
Anyone?
quick. Yeah, Mayor, real quick.
Sir? Mhm.
You forgot some of the interviews you did on TV and radio.
Oh my God. Okay, so I did forget that. I had an interview with Univision about the grant that we received. I don't know what they wanted to talk to me, but yes, we invited the press to come and cover that. Also, I talked about with WTOP about the Black History Month event. So I still haven't heard the interview, but I know I talked to them. So they also interested in cover the Juneteenth event, and I just got an email today from Ali that we're gonna be meeting sometime soon about the I'll tell you right now, what is this? We're in the back and forth with meetings. This is about the event, but also about this. My God, I lost it. I had it ready, but it's about the art piece that is gonna be placed on Wyndham Road. So we probably gonna have a meeting on March 6th to discuss that, and also we eventually have to meet with Councilmember Taylor to discuss the Juneteenth event that is gonna be happening there. Because we have to talk to Mayor Robinson, because she has the 100-year celebration going on, and she has the gala, and she also have the North Brentwood Day. So we have to coordinate and see what exactly we're going to do with that. So So that's what I have. Thank you, Mr. Gaston, for that reminder. Okay, so consent to receive reports, anyone?
I move that we receive all the reports from the council members and the mayor and the town administrator and the police chief and everybody else who gave us a report.
Excellent. Everybody in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Which also includes the funding that we approved last meeting to public work furnace repair. So the only thing I think, Mr. Gaston, we needed to approve, because we only approved the but I know those were emergency situations, but we had the public work piping of 2,695 that needs to be approved by the council.
Yes, ma'am. That also, so long story short is we are doing a real good, we're cleaning up public works and we're trying to get rid of some of the empty space. So we took out a lot of the rusted piping. We also needed to purchase a brand new water heater because that started to leak. And so all that piping was taken out. So yes, if we could get approval for the public works improvements, if you will, I'd really appreciate it.
So we need a motion to approve that amount as well as the restaurant heaters at Bartlett Park for 1,821.
Correct. So real quickly, both the heaters inside the public restrooms, men and women, along with the public restrooms outside, the heaters no longer worked. So we had to have those repaired. So just FYI on it. So
So the 1821 is for the heaters?
Correct.
Restaurant heaters, yes.
Do we have a
And
line item?
I'm sorry, and the 2,695 is for public works piping. I think that they can be determined by the treasurer, Councilmember Taylor.
TBD?
Mhm.
Okay. Do we want to do two separate? Let's do two separate motions. I move to approve $1,821 for bathroom repairs within Town of Brentwood building facilities. Line item to be determined by the treasurer.
Can Mr. Laurent, can you please call the roll, or which you can say use aye, whichever you guys prefer? You in favor to approve paying this bill, say aye.
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 Aye, so moved. Next item, Councilmember Taylor.
I move to approve $2,695 to repair damaged pipes at the Public Works building. Line item to be determined by the treasurer.
All right. All in favor to approve this bill, say aye.
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 All right, so approved. Thank you. All right, Mr. Gaston, you can sign those POs now.
Yes, ma'am, will do.
All right, so moving to the next item, which is old business, we have Brentwood Native Plant Network proposal for Pocket Park. And I think that's Councilmember Rob.
That is correct. And I did submit a document. I hope you guys have all had a chance to look at it. But in the course of a past few months, Vice Mayor Legan and I walked through Pocket Park to identify and notate which trees he had previously planted and the town had previously planted in that space. And taking a look at it, knowing that we'd like to make it a welcoming space, and also address any kind of stormwater in that space and, promote biodiversity that the town supports. I looked at the current budget that we have for Pocket Park for this fiscal year, and noticed that there was a few thousand something dollars, can't remember, but it's in the native plant proposal. And would like to know if I asked around a little bit to see, and I heard that there were no plans for the pocket park at this point, and spoke with the Native Plant Network, and they expressed interest in taking it on as a project to beautify and to improve for environmental health, biodiversity, et cetera. And they actually met with Mount Rainier resident and a volunteer who is a retired horticulturist, I believe. It's in the proposal. Thank you very much, Mr. Gaston. And he actually, Barry Stahl also works for the Prince George's County Audubon Society, and they installed a native plant garden for Joe's Movement Emporium. It's very elaborate, very beautiful, and also addresses stormwater issues. Barry and another person from the Prince George's County Audubon Society met informally with the Brentwood Native Plant Network just to discuss possibilities and what could maybe happen with Pocket Park. And they identified a section of the park, which there are photos in the proposal. And also the proposal addresses the specific plants and the area that would be targeted for this initial improvement. So they're thinking they would be able to have the design consultation from the Prince George's County Audubon, which again, the photos are included in the document. I don't know if we want to scroll through it, or does everybody have it? So it's okay. You're good to look at it. Okay, so I already spoke about that. Yep, so here would be the proposed budget for the 1250 that's available right now for Pocket Park improvements. Would be a large educational sign that explains kind of what a native plant garden is and what its benefits are and what the purpose is, along with 7 plant labels that would identify the groupings of plants with a very unique description that addresses not only the plant's benefit, the plant and what it is, but also its benefit to native insects and our biodiversity. And then also purchasing 250 native plant plugs. Native plant plugs are like little tiny arty baby kind of growing plants that you can put in the ground and have greater chance of survival than planting with seed. And then also purchasing a smaller tree, and of course abiding by the recent shrubs and trees law that we passed as well, since the section of Pocket Park does jut up against one of our streets there and also has a little bit of an alleyway there. I thought our current budget was only $1250. That's what was in the fiscal year for this year that I was aware of.
So if I may,
But if I can just continue real quick and then we can have a dialogue, I'd appreciate that if we can. And I'd love the treasurer to please chime in when we're having the dialogue. So their timeline would be February seeking approval. So that was this is, our last opportunity for that. And then March, thank you, Mr. Gaston, for continuing to scroll to the next page. And then March would be completing the design, which, as we'll see in the next pages, there has been already a volunteer who, proposed, who's an expert in native plant gardening, who proposed this design possibility. And then ordering the signs and printing, ordering the plants, having a community cleanup in March of the park right now as it is in order to prepare the site. And then April to May would be installing signs, planting the garden with the community, adding in the Pocket Park as part of the native garden celebration event or tour that they're going to have in June that they're going to have that they started last year. And then, of course, I know that we're always concerned about, okay, well, you can start something, but then how do you maintain it? And so if we could scroll just a little bit more, Mr. Gaston, thank you. The maintenance plan is in design right now, the proposal. that they'd like you to consider, and that would be that the Brentwood Native Plant Network would work with the Tree Committee, Green Team, and community partners to engage residents and businesses in native plant education and action, and they're developing a quarterly care and maintenance plan for not only Pocket Park, but also Bartlett Park, and any other municipal areas that will have native plant spaces. And this would also include, opportunities for community engagement. So aligning garden maintenance and education with Brentwood events. So like Brentwood Day or International Day, also inviting people to, hey, come on over to Pocket Park, take a look and learn, what's going on here. And if you want to get your hands dirty, let's get in and do some weeds and digging. But also they would welcome the opportunity to work with the Public Works Department to understand what are native plants, and so that they don't get removed, and also how do you actually take care of them. And I know that last year we approved as a council the huge water gallon tank, and so that could also be an opportunity for maintaining that garden space. And so those were examples of the signs that were specially designed for Joe's Movement Emporium, but apply to any native plant garden. And the designer and the printing company are allowing the town to actually use these signs. These are not signs that we can pass on to everybody in the whole wide world to use, but this would be to our exclusive use. Exclusive use that we would be able to use. So it's that's already been proposed, and the folks who designed this are already they're part of the Prince George's County Audubon Society, Barry Stahl and the folks who designed that at Joe's Movement Emporium. Excuse me, Mr. Gaston, if you could scroll just a little bit, thank you. And then these are the specific examples of the plant names, and also showing, what does it benefit? So we're creating some more education opportunity. And then if you scroll down to the next page, thank you, Mr. Gaston. So this is the initial draft design proposing to the council of what would be this first initial focus for current fiscal year, based on the 1250 that I thought was in the budget. So if you scroll a little bit more, where this area specifically is right at the entranceway. When you walk into Pocket Park, on the right-hand side, there's a couple of boulders and one tree. It's only maybe 1/6 of the park, but it's a beginning start, and they wanted to start smaller, and not just work the whole thing and have it become overwhelming, but start at the entrance of it, make it a clean look, and also test it out as kind of a pilot to see how community engagement is, and also see how this would do in that space. So they're not taking on something larger, but really trying to be focused in. So here's an example in a photo of where that space is. It's just that front entrance portion of the park, facing the street. And I think there might be one other photo included, or that might be the only photo, I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, thank you so much. So that is their proposal, and I'd welcome discussion or contributions or disagreements or questions. Thank you.
Councilmember Rob, my question, I have Vice Mayor with hand up. Vice Mayor.
I didn't expect to be called on so soon. That's great. So Councilmember Routh, this is awesome. I love everything you're doing here. I love the educational piece. My one red flag, and we're getting in the weeds here, which is a pun. But I believe that area that is sketched out to work on has a lot of native milkweed growing there already, which, as you know, will probably like sort of take over whatever else is planted there. So I'm not sure if some sort of remediation would be needed in that area first before introducing something new, because we've been scalping it for the last few years. But if we were to let it grow, there's a ton, I believe, if my memory serves me right, there's a ton of like native milkweed just all throughout that area. So just a heads up, but love what you're doing and want to support you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the heads up and the support.
Real quickly, I wanted to chime in. This big tree on the right-hand side of this picture is actually on the resident's property, which is right next door. And Vice Mayor Legan will have to let me know. I think this tree has died, if I'm not mistaken. But this tree, I just want to be clear, this tree is not on town property.
That was my explanation and my understanding as well, and that tree does house several hazardous limbs that are broken and sitting within the tree that could potentially drop on anybody. And thankfully we have insurance for volunteers who do any kind of volunteering around the town, I guess. But people have already, the Brentwood Native Plant Network is familiar with the park and is aware of the tree.
I think, Mr. Gaston, at this point, it has to be sent a letter to the homeowner and the rental, because I believe it's a rental property. So, because when they were digging and flipping the house, they dig a trench around the tree, and that makes that tree to be dead now. So, but if you have Mr. Code Enforcement to send a letter, because it's noticeable that that tree needs to be removed, and that's not on town property.
Good point. We've already sent 2 letters about this particular tree. We have not asked them to remove it. But if that is something that we want to do, we can do. The letters were sent that say, if this tree falls, you're going to be responsible for it.
Well, you will have to
but we can
send-
have it removed. We can ask them to have it removed. I mean, the tree has been sitting there for a good minute, but we can definitely ask them to have it removed.
If you already sent a letter, I suggest to send another one.
We've already sent 2 letters have been
Because if
sent.
we have to, well, that's another discussion, but
Yeah, it is. I
if
just
we
let
have to
everybody know.
remove the tree, I think in that case, we have to let the owner know that if we remove the tree, that Mrs. Darcy will place a lien on that property.
Amen to that. And we will definitely, I will get with Ms. Code Enforcement on tomorrow or the next day, and we'll see what we can do about this tree. This tree is becoming an eyesore for us, and we'd like to have it removed or trimmed or something.
I'd just like to jump in real quick, Mayor, just to clear up the funding that is available for Pocket Park. So I just want to remind everyone that under the mayor and council projects that we included $4,000 for the Pocket Park redesign. So that's funding that would be available. And the $1,250 that Councilman Roque is referencing, that is actually the money that you, the reoccurring money that's appropriate in the budget, just for the annual maintenance of the park, which you could still use for, this project. But I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that we still have that $4,000 for the redesign of the park that's in the budget. That's one time only money. So once that's gone, we won't see it again unless we appropriate something additional.
Thank you,
For
Shelley,
the Pocket Park, not for any special projects, but for the Pocket Park. At some point, you guys all decided that you wanted to set aside $4,000 for the redesign of that park.
Yes, for the redesign.
I just have a question for Councilmember Rao. Are you seeking, when you add this item into the agenda, this is a general question for, are you asking an action? Because the regular council meetings to do an action, right? So are you requesting funding now, or this was maybe a work session item? I'm just.
I think this was for the February 20th meeting, which is an approval meeting.
That's what I'm asking. Are you
I'm
requesting
asking,
funding?
yes,
How are
I'm
you?
requesting, and now that I know that there's $4,000, no, I think we'll just start with the $1,250. But yes, they are requesting your approval to begin looking at the direct, whatever the next steps are in order to figure out the actual finances, bring those details or whatever they need to do in order to start planning and doing this. Yes, I'd like your approval.
But that's the question, that do you have a plan in action now, or because I mean, without plan, are we going to approve the 4K? So I'm confused. I mean, are you seeking funding now? Do you have a plan for this?
So the
work?
proposal that we just walked through is the plan. there's a timeline in there and a budget for $12.50. I did not know about the $4,000, so right now let's just focus on the $12.50.
But, okay, so that's what you need right now. So a motion to approve that. Will you want to make the motion?
I can make a motion on my own proposals? Hey, all
You're a
right.
council
I'm
member.
learning.
I'm the only one that I cannot make no motions.
I move that you all wonderful people, please approve the Brentwood Native Plant Network's proposal for FY 24 funds for Pocket Park at $1,250. Period.
You have a line item or is it TBD?
Line item, yes, I do. I actually, no, I have it memorized almost. I think it might even be in the proposal, you guys. 59950.
So,
that.
this is the treasurer. So, that's actually the total line. So we don't really charge to that line. It's the other three lines. But basically it's the pocket part, expense or line items that she's charging. It would be all three, the maintenance, the repairs and maintenance, and the landscaping. That it would hit.
Okay. So I move that you all please vote yes for the Brentwood Native Plant Network to spend $1,250 from the 59951, 59952, 59953 line items of the budget for Pocket Park expenses for fiscal year 24. Period.
Aye. All right, Councilmember Monroe,
Yes.
Councilmember Taylor,
Yes.
Councilmember Rock,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Legan,
Yes.
Rocio Trevino Lopez, yes. So move. All right,
Thanks, guys.
no problem.
I'll come back for those 4,000. When do they run out?
Bring something back to the next meeting.
Yeah, so the 4,000, if it's not spent this year, then you,
June 30th.
when we do the budget for 2025, you'd have to vote or bring it over.
Yep. Okay, moving to the next item, which is town event tent. I think you have a graphic that Mr. Loran sent around. The only thing is that we're going to remove the, but I think that in way of marketing our town, it would be nice to have our own tent, especially because when we go and do events like the ones the partnership events that we did with Mount Rainier, we had to use the police department's tent. So I'm looking to I'm looking for $1,135.46. The only thing is the you notice it says the Town of Brentwood. We're gonna remove the D, it's just gonna be Town of Brentwood. Any questions, of course?
Mayor, how big is the tent?
The tent is, Larry, help me out,
Probably a 10 by 10.
probably.
So it's the same one the police department has, just different graphics.
A 10 by 10.
Okay.
Is this coming out of the recreation budget?
You know, we need to start thinking about marketing line items.
Yeah, we can charge it to that line item. I will probably have to, when I do the line item transfers and present them next week, I'll probably have to move money to carry it, but we can charge it there because that's essentially what it's for.
I have a question.
Mr. Gaston?
Yeah, I love the design. Is there any way we can put like maybe the website or the email address on so people not only know that we are here, but where they can reach us and find out more information? on one of the
I
sides,
don't know
maybe?
if they charge per letter. Larry, can you let us know? Cause I don't know how the how is,
So what we can do is we can have Town of Brentwood on the front and the back side, and then have an email and a website on both sides.
No,
So
not
that way it's
not both.
visible from
One or
both
the other.
ends.
Either one or the other. My suggestion would be the website.
I
Okay, I
agree.
mean, we can do either one. I mean, I believe both can fit. So if we want to go with both, that can work as well.
Yeah,
but it's
I
gonna
did,
cost the same, adding any more but sometimes they charge per letter or per.
Yeah, no, so it'll be the same cost. There's no cost for wording.
Oh, okay. So can you if it's approved, Mr. Gaston, can you finalize the details with Larry, since he's been
yes, if Mr.
working on
Moran
this?
allows me to meet with him, I'd be happy to talk to him about it.
Anyone wants to do a motion? Councilman Taylor?
I move to approve $1,140 for the purchase of a Brentwood tent to be used at recreational events. Line to be pulled from the recreation line item.
Any questions? Any other questions?
Question, when would the thing be available?
I don't know how
If
long
we
it
do-
takes.
If we do order it by this
Larry?
week, it should be in by like the second week of March. Fingers crossed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Ali has his hand up.
Chief?
Yeah, I just want to give a quick shout out to former Chief Brother Calvin Washington for getting that tent going for the police department. Thank you guys. Appreciate you.
All right, so all in favor to approve funding to purchase this tent? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much. It's approved. So I move to the next item, which is the America in Bloom 2024 that I previously mentioned that we had a meeting with Edmiston, but I just want to mention that it's not just Edmiston, it's other municipalities that are submitting this collaboration with American in Bloom. But Mr. Barnes from the town administrator Edmiston is taking the lead. Of course, I have Councilman Rao to join me because she's the one working on this tree committee. So I thought that there would be, best to have her there. So we are looking for $875 to finalize this the application. Hold on, I'm trying to look at the pictures. Let's see.
And I think they were emailed so that we might be able to pull them up.
I'm looking
Mr.
for that.
Gaston, I don't know if you're able to pull it up.
So,
This was also shared at the Prince George's County, the PGCMA. Mr. Barnes made their presentation. Yeah.
Hopefully you can see it, hopefully.
Yes,
Mhm.
thank you.
Yes, is this it? Yes.
Yes.
You want to run through this PowerPoint?
Sure. Let's
I
go to the
don't
next
know.
slide. American Bloom. Did you want to say anything, Mayor, or should we just run through it real quick?
You can run through and then we can talk about going to the event in Ohio in September.
So American Bloom, several of the the municipalities along Route 1 are participating. I'm not sure exactly what which towns precisely off the top of my head, but they promote beautification in a way that is aligned with native plants, but also meets, you know, for me, as the chair of the sustainability committee looking for native plants, that's part of my my goal and interest in this, but they also provide beautification in other capacities outside of just native plants. So if we go to the next slide, please. So what they'll do is, you know, they'll come into a municipality and take an assessment of the entire municipality's beautification, I guess is the easiest term to use, but they look at what kind of, you know, floral biodiversity, landscaping, your urban canopy, environmental initiatives, and kind of overall vibe of your town, of your municipality, to see if there are other suggestions or way to tie in some additional beautification elements. And next slide, please. They have different, so they have also kind of a certification approval, you know, like where you can achieve, you know, you can level yourself up as a municipality. You can start at one level and work your way up to achieve greater levels. They provide the assistance, the expertise that comes in and does the assessment of your municipality, and then provides you a full report that explains to your municipality where they think that you could make improvements and give you the specific improvements ideas. So next slide, I guess I'll put my thoughts and opinions at the end. So as you can see, 330 plus communities in 43 states. It's about community enhancement programs, but also you get, as I mentioned, the two-person team of advisors. They come to visit, and there is a cost of putting up the advisors, but mostly that can be done actually through an Airbnb or even staying with a council person in order to, or another person in order to reduce the costs. But what they do is they come in and they take a full 2-day evaluation of the community and then write the written report in consultation with the metrics. And of course, the advisors are all experts in their field. Next slide, please. Oh, next slide, thanks. And then they bring folks together for a symposium and award celebration, which is where you end up getting your report and your recommendations and an assessment as to what level you are, level 1, 2, 3. And you conduct they conduct learning tours for the municipal participants. This year's, as it's noted there, is going to be in Columbus, Ohio. And next slide, please. Keep going, please. So Edmundston has obviously been involved for quite a long time, and they have been able to use the expertise provided by American Bloom to improve they're actually a leader in the area of native plants and beautification. So they've been able to use the results and implement them. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So when they made this presentation to Prince George's County Municipal Association, I'm just going to be real with you all. I was not enthusiastic or excited about it because when I looked at the images of the flowers and the municipalities that they showed as an example, I did not see Brentwood in them, and I did not see our charge of sustainability or native plants or biodiversity in the slides and in the images. But when the mayor invited me to sit with Mr. Barnes, the town manager for Edmiston, and he really explained, he went further in depth around what this program is about. And the mayor also, reminded me, and I don't think I'm I'm not a single issue council person, but I'm very dedicated and committed to sustainability and climate change and environmental justice. But she pointed out, that this is a broader scope of beautification. This is beyond just biodiversity. This is also bringing in and making space for everybody's concepts of beautification. And it made me think of the ARPA business funds that we set aside for our businesses to address beautification, to look at the front landscapes of their businesses, or the front doorstep, or how can they make a more welcoming, inclusive landscaping space. And that's what American Bloom would be able to provide kind of that landscape expertise and those recommendations from looking at and understanding what Brentwood's history is and where Brentwood is going, and take a larger look at, and incorporate all of our commitments to sustainability and biodiversity. So in having that meeting, I really, it changed my mind about the presentation and the group that's presenting. I don't have a deep desire to travel to Columbus, Ohio. So if we don't have the funds, that's a-okay with me, and the mayor can represent our town. But I think if there's an opportunity to learn from other small towns or other towns that, are seeking inclusion and diversity, I'd be happy to go. But really, if it's not fiscally prudent, I don't need to, and I pass it over to the mayor to talk about the costs or the other proposal that you'd like to make.
Thank you, Councilmember Brock. Well, this is more like for the submitting the application is $875. So we have to put in the budget if we decide to go in September, because that's gonna be in the new fiscal year. So right now, what we're looking for is to get funding of $875. Anyone?
I'm going to defer to Shelley. Is there,
So yes, I do have a line item I can pull the $875 from. We still have some money sitting in the line item from the volunteer fire department, and also some other miscellaneous items we have in the budget. So I don't have a concern in regards to if we have the funding. I just have to move some money around.
oh, I'm sorry. Just a super quick question, because I know Councilmember Monroe has his hand raised. This is a recurring amount. I don't think it's the $875, but there is money that we'll have to pay in annually, correct? To stay a member? Or is it a one-time $875?
What I understood is one-time $875 sign-up fee. And then if you want to attend to the conference or in September, that's a different thing.
Okay. Thank you.
So Mayor, just a quick question. So maybe I'm sorry, I didn't catch it. What's the timeline? Is it like a quick turnaround? You guys need this $875, and then we got to get the application in by end of March. But what's the date on it?
29th of February.
Oh,
Well,
got you. Okay. I mean, I agree. I think your description, and thank you, Mayor, for sitting with me with Edmiston, because I sort of had a similar response when I saw the presentation at PGC in May. This gave me a deeper understanding of what it could be about. So, and I like the idea of I agree with that. I immediately thought about we've always wanted to focus on Route 1 and beautifying the streetscape. So I think this could definitely help Um, so I'm excited. So I'm definitely in favor.
Yeah, and I'd like to think of it as like, almost like a pilot, you know, I mean, I really am, I want to champion, I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but I want to champion us coming together and working on that, our town center, and that's not our new town center building, but like the downtown quote unquote space of Brentwood, and what is it that we hope it will be, and work towards that instead of kind of throwing band-aids at things like, oh, let's beautify this, you know, block or this storefront, but like, what is the longer and larger term strategy and vision? But in the interim, let's, you know, get some ideas and let's get some feedback, and let's see if we can implement some things in the interim, you know, to make it a more welcoming space.
I think the vice mayor had a question.
Oh, I can't see him. Where is he?
Councilmember Monroe asked my question. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
So I will make the motion. I'm to approve $875 for the application fee for America in Bloom, line item to be determined by the treasurer.
Any other questions? If you are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Thank you. Thank you so much. So the next item in the agenda is the letter of support for HB 473 and SB 442 bill.
Yes, and those were shared as well, so hopefully we can pull them up. And Attorney Deloach, I'm not sure if you received them in advance of the meeting, but I did send them to you during the meeting. I don't know if you need to take a look at them or not, but they are suggested letters in support of a bill called the Maryland Bottle Bill. And it is basically support, Anacostia Watershed Society and Sierra Club and others are supporting a bottle bill that is similar to what other states have, where if you buy, you know, an aluminum can and you actually return it to a recycling center, when you're done, you get 5 cents back, right? So it's basically incentivizing people to bring their bottles, plastic included, and aluminum and glass to a recycling. Primo, please stop. Sorry, my cats are acting. Bring them back. And so it's an incentivization to provide mechanisms for consumers to recycle instead of, yes, exactly. Yes, the old school rebate for recyclables. Exactly. So it's an incentivization for the consumers, but it also places some of the burden back on the producers so that they would have to participate in the establishment of these spaces for the recyclables to go back to. I sent links to the fact sheet that they provided and also just kind of crafted our letter based on the information that is available. As I mentioned, some nonprofit organizations are supporting this. Plastic is a huge concern. When we're doing our litter pickups along the river, that is mostly what we're picking up these days. So, and if you scroll a little bit further down to the next page, Mr. Gaston, thank you. So the legislation, as it says here, would also provide savings for local governments since beverage producers would finance the costs of collection and processing of 3/4 of beverage containers currently being disposed or littered, the collection and processing of some containers currently recycled curbside. So in the state of Maryland, if you scroll up just a little bit, Mr. Gasson, I'm sorry, thank you so much. When we think about it, right there, it says the recycling rate for beverage containers in these programs is 2 to 3 times higher in the rebate programs in the states that have these. Recycling is actually 2 to 3 times higher than for containers not subject to a deposit, which includes Maryland. We don't have a deposit. So states with a 10-cent deposit have achieved container recycling rates of 90% compared to Maryland's 23%. So I provide that to you for consideration, and if we can support this. Also, I'm aware that there were a couple of other bills in our last meeting that we also supported, and Mayor, I'm not sure if you were able to submit those letters to the legislature in support of the stormwater bill funding, but that would also be a question that I have. But for now, we're asking to support this letter right here.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Has this been posted already, or this is a draft?
That's a draft.
Okay, the only thing that I would suggest is that we actually use the verbiage on official Town of Brentwood letterhead. So
Let's
that
do
they
it.
Okay, just so that they mirror the other letters of support that we've done for the various. You'd be
Yeah, if the
surprised.
council approves it, I would absolutely love that. I've just created a draft. Yeah.
Right,
Yep.
I just wanna, cause it's nice, but it's not the official letterhead.
Not official. That's right.
Correct.
Does anyone have any concerns or comments about this support letter? Right, so is everybody in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Right, thank you.
Attorney Deloach, no concerns.
Sorry about that. No concerns on the letter. I read it. No concerns at all.
Thank
Makes
you.
me feel old though, because when I was a kid, they had this program in place for metal cans.
Yep.
Yep. So
Same. Feel the same way. I'm like, wait, Maryland doesn't have this already? Yeah.
All in favor for those who are old?
Aye.
Alright, thanks. So I will move to the last item in this agenda, which is the flag request. What is it, Mr. Gaston? I know I put flag request discussion.
That's
Councilmember-
me. Sorry, I was trying to eat some potato chips really quickly. Because it's dinner time. It's past dinner time. So it was brought to my attention that we had not discussed hanging the flag for Black History Month, which then brought up a conversation about the resolution that we put in place regarding the hanging of flags. So it's a two-part conversation. The first part is, although I know that there are only a few days left in Black History Month, would the council be amenable to hanging the red, black, and green Pan-African flag for the remainder of Black History Month? And then the second question that I had was in regards to the resolution that we have in place, would it make sense to have a baseline of holidays or observances, I guess is a better word, that will allow the staff to hang a flag to just alleviate this sort of thing happening again, where it just doesn't come up or we forget or whatever. And then if there are additional things that pop up, then those would need to be brought before the council. For example, we voted to have the Piscataway tribal flag for Indigenous Peoples Month last year. That could be a part of an ongoing practice that we have via resolution. Black History Month. Juneteenth is another one. I'm not sure if we do a flag for Hispanic heritage, but that could maybe be something we discuss. There are a lot of different ones. Asian, American, Pacific Islander, Native Hawaiian is one. AAPI, I want to say, is May. So is that something that we want to consider going forward, just so that we have it in writing we don't necessarily need to discuss it unless it's something new that pops up.
Any comments?
I'll go first, and then Councilmember Monroe has his hand raised as well. I think that's the way to go. We should have like a list of them that we just decide on for the year. We can just, yay or nay, vote on it. And then if, there's something that comes up that we forgot, like, we want to, raise another flag, then we can talk about that as the time allows. But I think Councilmember Taylor's idea is really the best thing. And I don't know if we need to write a resolution, if it has to be that formal, or if we can just, have a list and just say yay or nay to the list and then move on with our year. But I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I was well, I was just gonna say, I was, basically echo the sentiments. I think I like the idea of just streamlining it. I think that makes sense. We're already supportive of it through resolution. So to me, and admittedly, I was probably in my head already thinking that it had already been approved or we were going to put the flag up. So when it came up, I didn't realize. So I think this idea helps just coordinate it more efficiently and addresses any potential opportunities to, leave any flags off throughout the year. So I like that. I like the idea.
And maybe we can bring this idea back to the work session, because I think, I don't know if tonight's the night for it, but having a larger conversation about how we choose which flags to raise, might be important to have.
Chief Ali had a question, but he stepped away. So while I guess, and I don't want to overstep, Mayor, but I was just going to say, I can put together a list of what the different awareness months are and have it for the next meeting. And then we can just, discuss it and decide what we want. And that way, if there are any flags that we need to purchase, we can go ahead, purchase those now. They get hung, cleaned, and put away as needed, to be ready for the next time.
I think I concur with all of you, so I think that's a good idea. And let's put that into the work session for next week.
May I make a request of Councilmember Taylor? When you make that list, can you source where you get the idea from, right? So like, I know like the Library of Congress has a list of flags that they raise, and the State Department has a list, and the White House has a list, so that we know where it's being sourced from.
I sure can.
Thank you.
Keith Ali has his hand up. I don't know if he still wanted to say something.
Actually, yes. Just to add a few words, I 100% agree with Councilmember Taylor. As you guys know, that we have the patch for Brentwood for Black History Month. I think it's a great idea. The police department 100% stands and backs what Councilmember Taylor is talking about, because every month that there is something that we fly a flag, the police department will have a patch to support it. So all I have to say about that. Thank you so much.
And if I may, because of the chief's leadership, the code department also is going to be wearing a similar type of patch on our shirts that we have if we're having an event, so that we can be representative of the town and the event of that day. So just want to give you a heads up about that. The police chief will keep track of all the said logos, and it's a Velcro. It gets stick right on our shirt, and we just go from there, and then we give it back to the chief. So all requests will have to, for those patches, will have to go through the chief.
And I'm sorry, I just want to add one more thing. I just want to thank the town of Brentwood for taking the lead on this. And we are actually one of the first departments to ever have done this in unity. All right. Thank you so much for supporting the police department, and we support you.
Anything else for the good of the order? No. I just want to acknowledge one of our residents. I think Miss Monique still here. I don't know if she has a comment. Miss Monique Martin. She has stayed with our during the meeting, so I just want
Good
to
evening,
allow you.
Good evening, everyone. I don't have any comments at this time.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us. All right, so that is the conclusion of our meeting, and then I need a motion to adjourn to go into a closed session to discuss personal matters. And then which include our town attorney, mayor and council, and Mr. Gaston and our HR. I don't know if we have any new different logging ID. I just want to ask before we log off. Mr. Gaston.
Mr. Gaston, you're muted.
No, we can either stay on this particular Zoom or I can create a new one. For those who aren't in the closed session, I just let you know who's on, and those who aren't invited will then be asked to leave. But that's up to you. Choice is yours.
Councilmember Taylor, do you want to make a motion to adjourn and
I sure
close the
can.
regular meeting?
I move to adjourn the meeting of the mayor and council on February 27, 2024 at 9:12 p.m. to go into a closed session to discuss personnel matters. Those in attendance will be the mayor and town council, city administrator James Gaston, HR director Shelley Dorsey Washington, and the attorney Jason Deloach. Oh, and you said the clerk, right?
No, and
Okay.
it's now 9:13 p.m.
Okay. At 9:13 p.m.
Have
I
a good night,
guess
everyone.
anyone else? Good night.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Right.
Right.